You're listening to the Reds Podcast.
In your life, whether you're dealing with personal issues or business, how do you bounce back when something unexpected happens that leaves you stunned, feeling powerless, and at a loss about how to fix things? When you're building a business, you naturally put yourself at risk. And as an entrepreneur, you never really know what's coming next. If you stay in the game long enough, there will eventually be a time when something comes along that has the potential to destroy you if you let it. In this episode, I want to give you some ideas on how you can deal with these kind of curveballs. I want to show you that, rather than breaking you, you can use these experiences to become a smarter and more savvy entrepreneur. What's the worst that can go wrong in your business? How about a key employee leaving? Maybe a dispute among partners. A lawsuit? Perhaps profit being extremely lower than you've expected. I've experienced all of these things, some of them more than once. Let me tell you about one. A couple of years ago, I was doing some work in Las Vegas. I was there with my project manager, Wendy. When it was time to leave town, I arrived at the airport just a little early, as Wendy had to catch an international flight. She needed some extra time to get through customs. As I was sitting at the gate waiting, I got on my iPad to check email. And that's when I noticed that the numbers for the previous month had arrived. It's worth noting that I get a lot of financial statements for my business, but this one that I refer to here, the numbers as I call it, that's the one statement on which I judge the success and the health of my business. It was the one that I actually paid attention to, giving it more than just a quick glance of the bottom line. And the numbers sucked. In fact, that statement had the lowest amount that I'd seen all year. The numbers were so bad that I actually started to feel physically ill. It was an oh shit, it's over moment. Immediately, I got on the phone and I called Wendy, who by this time was at a different terminal waiting for her flight. Oh shit, it's over, I said. She talked me off the ledge. I got on my plane and I headed home. The next day, I was back without missing a step, almost as if nothing had happened. Moments like this are a funny thing, and they happen to entrepreneurs more often than most people would guess. That's because we're constantly pushing the envelopes of both personal and business development, trying to do things as big and as quickly as possible. And if you're doing this right, you're going to crash sometimes. You're going to have moments like these, because that's the only way you find out how big and how quickly you can grow things. But when you're in the middle of a crisis and it feels like your business is falling apart at the seams, what then? Well, here's what I suggest that you do. 1, have somebody to talk to. The bottom line is that successful people never become successful on their own. Yes, they have an internal motivation that makes success happen, but something else, somebody else, is helping them to get that perspective to keep going. For me, it was Wendy. And she's helped me out of many situations, not just this one. She's seen every aspect of my business, the good and the bad, so I trust her advice on things. I know that she'll be honest with me when I need to look at something, and when she sees something good about a situation, it's more than just hot air to make me feel better about what's going on. Number 2, look for what you're doing wrong and fix it now. Problems happen. Things don't just turn out how you think they will. But fortunately, most issues aren't that big, at least not at the beginning. When something like this comes up, use the people within your business to help you look at the past changes that could have affected what's happening now. If something was okay one month but not the next, look at what you've done differently. It's not always the reason for your problem, but it's a good place to start. Problems can be a good thing since they'll show you what you're doing wrong, but keep in mind they can also show you what you're doing right. For example, having a low revenue month like this, it showed me that what we were normally doing to stimulate sales worked. To solve the problem, we simply had to get back to doing that. Number 3, embrace the change and run with it. Your business is changing, even if you can't see it. And when you finally do see it, you better change with it. Here's an example. If you're in the video rental business, say Netflix, you don't want to base your company's self-esteem on the number of VCR tapes you're renting or even the number of DVDs, since both of those formats of video rental are dying. Instead, you want to look at how your customers are consuming your product and focus on that. Those are the only numbers that matter. I've had a similar issue in the music business with the death of vinyl records, then cassettes, and now CDs. The music business itself is actually healthy, but you've got to deliver the content in a certain way to take advantage of that health. If you look at anything else, you might not know how good things actually are. Number 4, get a grip. Even though the low numbers weren't as much as we wanted that month, they were still pretty good. So put things in perspective. Most business owners would have killed to have one income stream like that, but we had several. It helps to put everything into perspective like this. You can do this by looking around your current environment and taking inventory of everything. For example, I just finished up a week of staying in a 5-star hotel. I had a plane ticket. I was checking email on an iPad. I had a great staff helping me grow my business, and everybody was being paid. What would be the worst thing that could happen in a situation like this? Well, maybe next time when I was in Las Vegas, I'd have to get on Priceline to stay at a cheaper hotel, or maybe even a youth hostel. And instead of getting there by plane, I could ride a bus. If I didn't have a computer, I could borrow a computer or go to FedEx office and rent one. And if Wendy wasn't in the picture, I could do the work all by myself, just like I'd done when I was starting. That's not so bad, right? So let's take it to an even worse case scenario. Maybe I wouldn't go to Las Vegas at all. I'd stay in Nashville to do the work because I couldn't afford a flight or a bus. Maybe I wouldn't have enough money for my mortgage payment, so my house would be foreclosed on. Maybe I'd have to move in with my parents. And maybe I'd have to get a job working for somebody else. Is any of that going to happen? It could, but if you're like me and you've had a business for a while with a history of several years, probably not. If you're watching your business and continuing to grow as a person, even though things can get bumpy at times, it's doubtful that you'll ever have a worst-case scenario like this. So when something bad happens, get hold of yourself. It's almost never as bad as you think. There are plenty of good things that can come from a situation like this as long as you take immediate action on what happens. I've seen more than a few businesses go under from people not taking action because people completely ignored what was going on, or because a sudden income drop, for example, can be so scary that the key person became completely overwhelmed and just checked out. The advice that I'm giving you will work for most situations that you'll find yourself in. I hope that you'll use it when you find yourself in something that seems hopeless. A question for you. Are you looking to have somebody in your corner to talk you off the ledge when crazy moments happen in your business? If so, I've got an opportunity you might be a match for. Laurel and I are currently putting together an intimate group of high-level entrepreneurs who want to go big in the upcoming year. Making money is part of this, but we're looking for people who want more than that. Specifically, we're looking for people who want to focus on more freedom, the ability to do the work that you want in a way that allows you to live the life that you want. We call it Red 3X. It's the inner circle you've been looking for. You'll not only get support from other people who are in the trenches with you, you'll also get personal, one-on-one help from both me and Laurel. Red 3X isn't for everybody, and it may not be for you. Space is limited to just 7 people. This isn't a one-size-fits-all group program. It's an intimate group that operates at a very high level. Only the best will be accepted. Does that scare you a bit? That's good, because I want to stretch you, because that's the only way you and your business will grow this year. To take the next step, fill out the application at redpodcast.com/apply. Answer all the questions. We'll review the application and be in touch for a personal interview if we think you might be a good match. The URL again, redpodcast.com/apply. I look forward to hearing from you.
You've been listening to Red Podcast, Real Entrepreneur Development. Subscribe today using iTunes, Stitcher, or via RSS at redpodcast.com.